SINAMICS Startdrive tutorial. This tutorial will provide you with a brief introduction into working with Startdrive. The different steps for creating a project and the commissioning and diagnostics tools are shown in brief using a typical example. The tutorial is indicative only and makes no claim to be technically complete. For commissioning, you require the online help of SINAMICS Startdrive and the drive documentation. Wiring via USB. The drive unit must be wired to the PC in order for the commissioning to be completed. Depending on the connection options, you can connect the drive unit to the PC via Profinet or Profibus DP and via USB for all drive units. How to connect the drive to the PC. Switch the drive on and wait until ramp-up has completed. Plug the micro USB connector into the corresponding slot on the front of the drive and the USB connector into a USB port on the PC. Windows detects the USB device with the initial connection and automatically installs the driver. Note the procedure in the installation wizard. Windows XP is used as an example here. The driver is installed automatically under Windows 7. Once the driver is installed, you will create a new project and go to the Drive Online. Creating Project Portal View. Upon opening Startdrive, you will find yourself in the so-called Portal View of the new TIA portal. The portal view offers a task-oriented view of the tools and provides the basic functions for the individual task areas, for example, project management and diagnostics. The TIA portal also continues to provide the project view for the classic display. You can switch to this view easily via the relevant button. The portal view is the important one for now in the tutorial. You will create a new project from this as a next step. How to create a new project. Click Create New Project in the portal view. Enter a name under Project Name and select the pathway for saving the project. Confirm with Create. The project is created. Switch to Project View for the next steps, for example, going online. Online mode and connected devices. Online mode. The Startdrive provides the option of going to the drive online via the Accessible Devices function. For this, the drive unit can be connected to the PC via USB, Profibus DP, or Profinet. This depends on the relevant version of the drive unit. You will now learn how to identify connected drive units via accessible devices and incorporate these into the existing project. Finding the drive unit via USB with accessible devices. How to find connected drive units with accessible devices. Select Accessible Devices in the Online menu. In the Accessible Devices window, select S7 USB as the PGPC interface type and click Update. Startdrive automatically scans the selected interface and displays the drive units found. Select the drive unit found and click Display. The drive unit is displayed under Online Access in the Project Navigator. Integrating the drive unit into the project. You can access the drive unit from Startdrive via accessible devices. You can now integrate the drive unit into the project. How to integrate drive units into the project online. Select the drive device in the Project Navigator. Select Upload Device to PG-PC in the Online menu. The data is loaded to the PG-PC. The drive unit is integrated into the project and is displayed in the Project Navigator. Commissioning with Startdrive. You can complete the commissioning in a short space of time with the Startdrive commissioning wizard. For this, Startdrive supports offline commissioning in the project or online directly on the drive unit. After offline commissioning, you load the configuration from the PG-PC into the device. With online commissioning, you load the configuration from the drive unit into your project. Online commissioning will be introduced to you in the next step. Basic commissioning online. You must connect Startdrive online with the drive unit before commissioning. How to go online and start the commissioning. Select the drive unit in the Project Navigator and then select Connect Online from the shortcut menu. A typical icon is displayed next to the drive unit once the connection has been established. In the example, this is the icon for maintenance required because the drive still has to be commissioned. Double-click Commissioning in the Project Navigator. A window is shown in the work area. Double-click the Commissioning wizard in the work area. The wizard will start. You will complete the commissioning in the next step. Basic commissioning online with the wizard. Select the relevant parameters in the wizard for basic commissioning of the drive. Startdrive is already online with the drive unit connected and the commissioning is open in the work area. How to complete basic commissioning. You configure the open loop, closed loop control type, determine the drive settings, and select the motor in the wizard shown. Run through the commissioning wizard. You move to the next step in each case by clicking Next. Use Standard Telegram 1 as Telegram. This is preset through the selection of the macro. Completing the motor data identification when idle is recommended for the initial commissioning. This is performed with the first ON command, for example, when testing the drive with the control panel. All parameters are displayed in the summary at the end of the wizard. You can check the values entered once again here and make any changes using Back. Click Finish. This completes the basic commissioning. Testing and optimizing. Startdrive offers a number of options for testing and optimizing the drive. For the first function test, you can operate the drive by using the drive control panel. Error conditions can be recorded and eliminated via the online and diagnostic screen forms with all the alarm and fault messages. The motor optimization helps you to improve the control properties of the motor. The drive control panel will be introduced to you in Step 1. Rotating the motor using the drive control panel. By means of the drive control panel, you can carry out an initial function test of the drive. The start drive must be connected to the drive online and commissioning must be open in the work area. Follow the procedure below for testing using the drive control panel. Double-click on Control Panel. On the control panel, you activate the master control and set the drive enables and the operating mode. The motor is then ready to be switched on. Motor measurement is performed once at the first on command of the drive after commissioning. Start the drive and wait until the measurement is completed. Observe the safety instructions in the manual before you make the motor rotate. Enter a speed. You can make the drive rotate by clicking the forward or backward buttons. The drive accelerates to the specified speed. The actual values are displayed. Click Stop to stop the drive, switch off the motor, reset the drive enables and give up master control. Functions and parameters. A parameterization editor with 3 tabs is available to parameterize the drive. In one tab, you perform the basic commissioning with the wizard. The 2 other tabs contain a function view and a parameter view. They are described in more detail in this section. Function view. You parameterize the drive using screen forms with a graphical user interface in the function view. How to open the function view. Double-click Parameters below the drive in the Project Navigator. Click the Function View tab in the Working area. The secondary navigation for calling the function-oriented screen forms is in the left-hand area of the function view. The next step shows how the parameterization is performed in the function view. Assigning parameters in the function view. You edit the most important parameters in a clearly organized graphical user interface in the function view. The screen forms are based on function diagrams that map the functions in signal flow diagrams. The signal flow is from left to right. How to work with the function view. You can assign the signals for the inputs/outputs similar to the real terminal connections. Simply select the terminal signal from the displayed list. You can parameterize the functions in the screen forms with the aid of a graphical support. In addition to the secondary navigation, you can toggle between the individual screen forms of the function view with the buttons. You are supported by help screens when entering values.
Working online with the function view. In the functional view, you can change the parameter values directly in the drive when you are connected online to the drive. The input fields of the parameters that you can change online are displayed in orange. How to go online with the function view. Select Go Online from the shortcut menu. After successfully going online, those input fields which can be changed are displayed in orange.
Parameter changes in the online view only affect the drive. If you want to take the changes into the offline project, you must perform an upload to the project. Parameter view. The parameter list provides a clearly organized display of the parameters available for the device. To facilitate the locating of parameters, they are sorted according to topic. How to open the parameter view. Click the Parameter View tab in the working area. The secondary navigation for calling the parameter groups sorted according to topic is in the left-hand area. You can either display all parameters or select special groups. Working with the parameter view. The parameters are displayed with number, text, value and unit in the parameter list. Parameters that can be changed have a light grey background. How to work with the parameter list. Click the parameter in the value column that is to be changed. Select a value from the list or enter a value and confirm it with the Enter key. To display the online help, click the parameter and open the online help for the parameter via the displayed tooltip. You can compare the current values of the parameters with the factory settings. The differences are displayed with icons in the comparison column.
Working online with the parameter view. In the parameter view, you can change the parameter values directly in the drive when you are connected online to the drive. How to go online with the parameter view. Select Go Online from the shortcut menu. After successfully going online, those input fields which can be changed are displayed in orange.
Parameter changes in the online view only affect the drive. If you want to take the changes into the offline project, you must perform an upload to the project. Controller and drive device. With the Startdrive integrated in the TIA portal, you can easily configure a drive unit with a higher level controller. We'll briefly show you the configuration process using a SIMATIC S7-1500 and the SINAMICS G120 with a CU240E 2PN as an example. For this, the drive and controller are connected and configured via Profinet. Create Profinet connection. The drive, controller and PC must be connected with each other before starting the configuration. Connect the PC's Ethernet port with PN interface X1P1 on the SIMATIC S7-1500 via a Profinet cable. The X1 interface has two ports. Connect the second PN port X1P2 on the SIMATIC S7-1500 with the PN interface X1 on the SINAMICS G120 drive unit. Switch the devices on and wait until ramp-up has completed. You will then be able to identify the devices with the TIA portal via Accessible Devices. Identifying devices via Accessible Devices. You can access the connected devices via the life list in the Project Navigator. The TIA portal must be open for this. First of all, check the TCP IP properties of the PC's Ethernet interface in MS Windows and enter a unique IP address and the subnet mask. The subnet mask is identical for all devices: PC, controller, drive. Switch to the TIA portal. You have already created a new project there. Open Online Access in the Project Navigator. All usable interfaces for the PC are automatically displayed under Online Access. Click on Update Accessible Devices under the PC's Ethernet interface. All devices found after scanning the interface are then displayed in the Project Navigator. IP address and name of the devices. The devices must have a unique IP address and a Profinet device name for Profinet communication. How to display the current IP and name of the devices. The current IP addresses can be read next to the device with online access. You will then use this IP later when configuring the hardware. Next, we will show you how to change the IP and the name. Changing the IP and name. You can change the IP and the name under Online and Diagnostics. We demonstrate this below using a drive as an example. The procedure for the controller is identical. How to change the IP and/or the name. Open Online and Diagnostics on the drive or the controller. Select Assign IP address. Enter the IP address and subnet into the window shown, and you can assign these to the drive via the Assign IP button. Note: the new IP address for the controller only takes effect after the control unit has been restarted. You can assign a new Profinet device name to the drive via the Assign Name function. You will use the assigned IP addresses and names later when configuring the hardware. You will configure these in the next step. Inserting devices. In the TIA portal, you can insert the hardware into the project via the Insert dialog or via the Hardware catalog. You will use the Hardware catalog in the example. You must create the project and select Devices and Networks in the Project Navigator before starting. How to insert the devices into the project. In the Hardware catalog, navigate to the entry for the controller being used. This is a CPU 15163 PNDP in the example. Drag the controller to the network view using drag and drop. Now insert the drive, a CU240E 2PN in the example, into the project using drag and drop. select the drive in the Network view and switch to the Device View tab. Drag the power unit for the device to the free space using drag and drop. Switch back to the Network view and, with the left mouse button pressed down, drag a connection from the drive's X1 interface to the controller's X1 interface. A Profinet I/O system is created automatically. This completes the process for inserting the hardware. IP addresses and names. The IP addresses in the project and in the target hardware must match for Profinet communication. You have already checked the IP and the name of the target hardware using the life list. These must now be entered in the project. Upon download, the name in the target hardware is overwritten by the names from the project and does not therefore have to be adapted. How to display the IP address and name. In the Network view, click on the Ethernet port used for the controller. Additional information is displayed in the Properties tab of the Inspector window. Enter the IP address, the subnet mask and, where applicable, the name under Ethernet addresses. You can have the name generated automatically or enter a new one. Click also on the Ethernet port used for the drive. Enter the Ethernet address and, where applicable, the name. The hardware configuration is complete. You can load the project into the target system following the commissioning. Telegram configuration. A telegram must be configured for the cyclic communication between the drive and the controller. You have already selected a telegram in the wizard during the commissioning of the drive. Telegram 1 was used in the example. You can configure and also change the telegram subsequently. Proceed as follows. In the parameter view of the drive, you can display and configure the address ranges of the telegram in the Communications screen form. This is separated according to receive and send direction. It is recommended that you use the default settings. Click the button for the telegram configuration. The cyclic data exchange, as well as the telegram configuration for the actual values and set points, are displayed in the Properties tab of the Inspector window. You can also open the telegram configuration from the Network or Device view. Click the Ethernet port used for the drive in these views. The cyclic data exchange is displayed in the Properties tab of the Inspector window. You can change or configure the telegram in the cyclic data exchange, actual value and set point screen forms. If you want to configure a drive with safety functionality, enter the safety telegram at Cyclic Data Exchange. Saving and loading into the target system. After the hardware configuration, you have completed the online basic commissioning for the drive. The overall project now just needs to be saved, compiled, and loaded into the target system. Follow these steps. Save the current project via Project, then Save. Compile the current settings to the devices via the shortcut menu. Load the data into the devices after saving. Select Download to Device, then Hardware and Software, in each case in the shortcut menu. For this, the TIA portal online must be connected with the devices and the relevant online access configured, for example USB or Profinet. This completes the configuration.
Safety integrated. The safety functions integrated in the SINAMICS inverters can be parameterized intuitively using graphic screens with Startdrive that is part of TIA Portal. Most drives of the G120 family are equipped with the Safe Torque Off (STO) drive autonomous safety function. This function is also available for standard control units, without F suffix. The extended functions make available further safety functions, such as Safe Stop 1, SS1, and Safely Limited Speed, SLS. A brief overview of safety configuring in Startdrive follows. Activating the commissioning mode. Safety integrated can be commissioned offline in the project or online directly on the drive. For the offline commissioning, you must explicitly activate the safety functions after the download. In the example, you perform both an online and an offline commissioning. How to activate the safety commissioning mode for online commissioning. For the online commissioning, you have already configured the drive to which Startdrive is connected online. Double-click Parameters below the drive device in the project navigation. The parameters will be displayed in the working area. Switch to the Function View tab. Activate the commissioning mode of the safety functions by clicking the Start Safety Commissioning button. A password protects the safety functions against unauthorized changes. Enter a new password and confirm the dialog. Only with this password can the safety parameterization be re-edited. The safety commissioning can now be performed. Select the safety functionality in the next step. Safety functionality. To edit the safety functions, you must first select the appropriate safety functionality. Click Select Safety Functionality below Drive Functions, Safety Integrated, in the Function View tab. In the opened window, you can choose between Basic Functions and Extended Functions, depending on the type of the drive device. After selecting the safety functionality, The possible safety functions are displayed in the secondary navigation and in the project window where they can be configured. This is the safety function STO, Safe Torque Off, in the basic functions. The extended functions also contain the Safe Stop 1, SS1. Safely Limited Speed, SLS. Safe Direction, SDI. And Safe Speed Monitor, SSM, safety functions. The following example illustrates the commissioning of a safety function of the basic functions and one of the extended functions. Basic functions based on the example of a G120 CU240E2PM-F commissioned the Safe Torque Off, STO, by means of terminals. A drive device with active STO function prevents the inadvertent starting of machine components. The safety commissioning is performed online. Note: prior to the safety commissioning, the drive device must be connected online with the start drive and the safety commissioning mode activated. STO commissioning. As first step, activate the safety functionality and then configure the Safe Torque Off, STO, safety function. Select the Basic Functions, Safety Functionality in the Function View tab. To configure the basic functions, you can display the individual screens directly via the buttons or the secondary navigation. Note: for a structured commissioning, you should process the screens via the secondary navigation sequentially from top to bottom. Click Control Type, Safety Functions, in the secondary navigation. In the open screen, select Via Terminals as control type. Click STO in the secondary navigation. Because the control unit input is permanently wired with the emergency stop, you do not need to make any further settings. If, for example, you want to interconnect the emergency stop with the signal lamp, you can use the STO active output. This completes the configuration of STO. In the next step, configure the test stop. The test stop of the basic functions is a self-test of the inverter in order to test the circuits for the Safe Torque Off. The test stop is restarted after each selection of the STO function and after the connection of the supply voltage switch on. A time block monitors whether the test stop is performed regularly. Click Test Stop in the secondary navigation. In the open screen, enter the duration of the time interval in which the test stop must be performed. You can specify the time interval. The permitted maximum value is 8,760 hours, 1 year, that is normally determined with a risk analysis. 8 hours are entered as default setting. Alarm A1699, test stop required, is issued when the time interval expires. You have now configured the test stop of the basic functions. Note: the remaining time until the occurrence of the alarm A1699 is also displayed in the screen. This timer is reset for each test stop to the previously configured value. If Safety Integrated is active, the inverter checks whether the signals at both inputs always have the same signal state. Because of the technical characteristics of the sensors, brief discrepancies or signal changes between the two input signals that are not safety relevant can occur. A fail-safe logic with safe outputs connected with the SINAMICS G120 can also be used for the activation. Some such fail-safe outputs provide test pulses that can be suppressed by the filter. The discrepancy or filter time can be used to prevent a faulty initiation or discrepancy error because of transient difference signal levels of the safety function. Click FDI, FDO, ProfitSafe in the secondary navigation. You can set the discrepancy time and the input filter time in the displayed screen. Adapt these values to the connected sensors and to the duration of the test pulses for the deployed fail-safe outputs. The safety commissioning is completed in the next step. To complete the commissioning, the safety parameterization must be copied to the ROM of the drive and into the project. Click on the End Safety Commissioning button to exit the safety commissioning mode. Click Yes to confirm the open dialog. The drive parameters are copied from RAM to ROM. Close the online connection to the drive device. Click the Load from Device, Software button in the toolbar to save the safety parameterization in the Startdrive project. Switch the drive device off and on so that the safety commissioning in the drive device acts. This completes the safety commissioning. Based on the example of a G120CU240E2 drive device and a higher-level SINAMICS S7-1500 CPU controller, you will commission the Safely Limited Speed (SLS) safety function by means of ProfitSafe. You have already included the controller in the drive device, and configured the communication in the project. The safety commissioning is performed offline in the Startdrive, and after the download safety is activated in the drive device. As first step, activate the safety functionality and then configure the actual value acquisition. Select the Extended Functions, Safety functionality in the Function View tab. To configure the extended functions, you can display the individual screens directly via the buttons or the secondary navigation. Note: for a structured commissioning, you should process the screens via the secondary navigation sequentially from top to bottom. Click Actual Value Acquisition in the secondary navigation. For safety functions without encoders, the pole para number of the motor is included in the conversion from the motor side to the load side. You must first configure them. Click the Actual Value Acquisition Configuration button. The pole pair number of the motor is displayed grayed out in the open dialog. This value must be considered for the input of the gear ratio. No mechanical gearbox is used in the example. Consequently, the gear ratio consists only of the pole number, 2 in the example. Click OK to confirm. This completes the configuration of the actual value acquisition. In the next step, configure the safety function. Now configure the control type and the SLS safety function. Click Control Type, Safety Functions, below Functions, in the secondary navigation. Select VRProfSafe as control type. Insert the ProfSafe telegram later during the safety commissioning. You must enable the associated SLS safety function. Select Enable in the selection list in front of the required safety function. The other safety functions also enabled but not deployed are deactivated later in the safety program. Click SLS in the secondary navigation. Select the monitoring mode. In the example, safety without encoder with a braking ramp, with SBR, in the example, is selected. For SLS VRProfSafe, you can select as many as 4 monitoring levels. Only level 1 is used in the example. Enter a value for limit speed, 500 revolutions per minute in the example, and the stop reaction, when the monitoring responds, stop in the example. Leave the other parameters at the standard values. This completes the configuration of SLS. In the next step, configure the test stop. Test stop. The test stop, force checking procedure, of the extended functions is a self-test of the inverter that tests its circuits for monitoring the speed and for the safe torque shutdown. A time block monitors whether the test stop is performed regularly. The test stop is started with a freely selected signal. Click Test Stop in the secondary navigation. In the open screen, use Test Stop selection to interconnect a signal or a bit of a control word in order to start the test stop. In the example, digital input DI1, R722.1, is interconnected. Note: the test stop of the extended functions includes the test of the basic functions, STO. You should leave both timers on the same value for this reason. You can specify the time interval. The permitted maximum value is 8,760 hours, 1 year. That is normally determined with a risk analysis. 8 hours are entered as default setting. Alarm A1699, test stop required, is issued when the time interval expires. Leave the other parameters at their default settings. You have now configured the test stop of the extended functions. ProfSafe. In the example, safety integrated via ProfSafe is configured. A ProfSafe telegram must be inserted and the ProfSafe address entered for fail-safe communication between control and drive. Click FDI. FDO. ProfSafe. In the secondary navigation, the ProfSafe address of the drive is displayed in the open screen, 5 in the example. You can change it offline. The ProfSafe address corresponds to the F address, fdisadd. Note: the ProfSafe address can be changed in this screen only as of SINAMICS v4.7 or Startdrive v13 SP1. To change the ProfSafe address for earlier versions, use the Telegram configuration, F address, in the details display. Click the Telegram configuration button to open the Telegram configuration in the details view. Cyclic Data Exchange is displayed in the Properties tab in the Details view footer. Click on Add Telegram below the actual value and setpoint and select Add Safety Telegram in the Open Context menu. The ProfSafe Telegram 30 is added. Also check the F address in the Safety Setpoints and Safety Actual Values fields in the same screen. It is used for the safety configuring and corresponds to the ProfSafe address for the safety commissioning. Address 5 is used in the example. The ProfSafe Telegram is then configured. The safety commissioning is completed in the next step. Activating safety. To complete the commissioning, the safety parameterization must be loaded into the drive device and activated. Save the project and select Load to Device in the context menu of the drive device. Connect Startdrive online with the drive device. Activate the commissioning mode of the safety functions. A password protects the safety functions against unauthorized changes. Enter a new password and confirm the dialog. Click on the Deactivate Safety Commissioning Mode button to exit the safety commissioning mode. Click Yes to confirm the open dialog. The drive parameters are copied from RAM to ROM. Close the online connection to the drive device. Click Load from Device, Software in the context menu of the drive device in the project navigation to save the safety parameterization in the Startdrive project. Switch the drive device off and on so that the safety commissioning in the drive device acts. This completes the safety commissioning. Safety Program. To use the safety functions of the SINAMICS drive device in conjunction with an FCPU, you must create the safety programs. For each F peripheral of the SIMATIC S7-1500 FCPU, an F block with the associated instance DB and an F runtime group are created automatically during the configuring so that you can begin immediately with programming the safety program. To display the F runtime group, proceed as follows. Click Safety Administration below the SINAMICS CPU in the project navigation. In the working area, you can use the secondary navigation to access the individual functions of the safety administration. Click F runtime group to display the automatically created F blocks. The F peripheral DB contains tags that you can evaluate in the safety program. The F runtime group consists of an FOB that calls the main safety block in which the safety functions are programmed. This example does not require any change to be made to the F runtime group. In the next step, program the main safety block. Main safety block. In the main safety block, the F peripheral is acknowledged and reintegrated concurrently in the F runtime group. The superfluous safety functions are deselected and the deployed safety functions are selected. In the example, the main safety block is programmed in FFUP. Note: further information about the general programming and about the F peripheral is contained in the online help of the TIA portal. Create a new variable table in the project navigation under PLC tags, with the following tags: STO, %Q1.0, SS1, %Q1.1, SLS, %Q1.4, ACK, %Q1.7. Note: the addresses of the tags result from the ProfiSafe control word and are used for the selection or deselection of the safety functions. To improve clarity, the tag names correspond to the name of the safety function. Click Main Safety, FB1, below the Program blocks of the project navigation. The program block opens in the editor. Click the ACKGL block below the Safety Functions in the Basic Instructions instruction window and drag and drop it to the program editor. A positive edge must be present as user acknowledgement at the block input. Acceptance test. The acceptance test of the drive device is part of the acceptance test of the complete machine or system. The acceptance test checks whether the drive-integrated safety functions are set to match the configured safety function of the machine. The results of the acceptance test and the settings of the drive-integrated safety functions must be documented. The safety commissioning and programming are completed after performing and documenting the acceptance. Note: a detailed description of the acceptance test and the scope of the documentation can be found in the SINAMICS G120 Safety Integrated Function Manual. Documentation of the acceptance is not automatically generated in Startdrive. Use the tabular overview of the acceptance reports contained in the function manual appendix.
Diagnostics. The TIA portal with integrated Startdrive offers a range of diagnostic options. You can identify the drive and have the most important information displayed via general diagnostics. In the event of an error, you receive support in the form of proposed solutions for any faults and warnings displayed. For targeted diagnostics, you can record signal sequences with the trace and analyze these. You will find a brief overview of diagnostic options below. Diagnostic options. A series of diagnostic options are available to you in online mode. How to display the diagnostics. Connect the TIA portal online with the drive unit. This is a PN connection in the example. Unique symbols for the diagnostic status are displayed in the TIA portal. These can be found, for example, in the Project Navigator in the Diagnostics tab, or in Info in the Inspector window, or directly in the Network view. You can open more detailed explanations for the symbols via online help. Double-click Online and Diagnostics below the drive. You can have the general diagnostics, active messages, or the message history displayed in the window shown. Active Messages displays, for example, all faults and warnings in tabular form. Pending alarms are displayed in the message display. Click the question mark for the error to display the online help correction options. For drives with a higher level controller, the drive alarms are shown directly on the drive unit and as group faults on the controller. The selected alarms can be acknowledged using the button after the fault has been resolved. After updating, acknowledged alarms are no longer shown in the alarm display.
Diagnostics with trace. You can record signal sequences from drive parameters with the trace. Using a SINAMICS drive as an example, you will configure a trace recording that is started with a pre-trigger when an error occurs. Note: Startdrive is already connected online to the drive unit. How to work with the trace. Double-click Add New Trace below Traces. A new trace is created in the project tree. You can click it to rename it. Double-click the new trace in the project tree. The trace configuration is displayed in the work area. The trace configuration can be created offline or online. However, the signals can only be recorded online. Select the signals for the trace recording. In this example, the current velocity and the motor temperature are recorded.
Configure the trace, for example, trigger and recording conditions. In the example, the trigger is set when an error occurs.
Transmit the trace configuration to the drive unit and activate the recording. The system switches automatically to the Diagram tab.
The drive is started via the drive control panel, and the trace recording runs once the error occurs in the drive, as previously configured for the trigger. A symbol in the Project Navigator also displays the error in the drive. You can display the recorded signals graphically in the editor and save them locally on the PC. Summary. You will have gained a brief overview of Startdrive after working through the tutorial. You can integrate a drive into a project, complete a basic commissioning, and rotate the motor. Please use the drive unit documentation and the Startdrive help system for further training. Thank you for your attention.